Okay, we're ready to begin.
Okay, first item of business is the roll call vote to see if we have a quorum. If you'll answer present or here, we call your name. Don Cohen,
Present.
Karen, got the name mixed up.
Here.
Here, okay. David Osbrook's here. Andrew Ring. Sue Wortman. We have 3 members here. We have a quorum. And Mr. Manson, if you'll take over with your remarks.
Yes, because we're meeting electronically, then I need someone on the board to make a motion to declare that it is a necessity to hold the meeting electronically due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which is in accordance with Executive Order number 16 issued by the governor on March 20th and extended by Executive Order number 34.
I'll make that motion, Christie.
Okay,
Second.
go right ahead. Go ahead with your motion.
I second the motion.
Who is the second? Don?
Yes.
Okay. Proper motion second. Those in favor signify by saying, whoops, we have a roll call. I'm sorry. Don, how do you vote?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
How do you vote? Chair
Yes.
votes yes. Motion passes. And next item of business is our statement to public. Our board is made up of 5 citizens. One may be a member of the county planning commission. One may be a member of the county commission. The rest of us not otherwise connected with county government. Tonight we'll call an item, ask the presenters to come forward or pay attention, I guess. And staff will make their report. Conclusion of staff's report. Presenters will have an opportunity to add anything to staff report. And at some point, I'll open the meeting for a public hearing. Meeting we'll check to see if there's anyone calling in and wants to talk, and we'll try to find out if there's anyone available that has something they'd like to say on this particular item. Once everyone's had their opportunity to speak, I'll close the meeting, and then we'll go to the board for questions, concerns, comments, and at some point after that, we should have a motion either to approve the item or disapprove. Of course, there are rights of appeal. Just to point those out very quickly, presenters can return to our board 1 year from now and try another approach, or they can petition the county commission and the county planning commission to change the ordinance. We don't have that authority. We can't change it. We just interpret it and apply it to a particular item. And of course, there's always an appeal to Chancery Court. And with that, does everyone have a copy of the minutes from the last meeting, the April meeting? I'm sorry. Any additions or completion? Yes.
I can make a motion that we accept the minutes.
Second.
Second, proper motion is second. Those in favor signify by answering the roll call. Don?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
David? Yes. Motion carries. And let's see, we're now ready for item number 1. David Chadwick and others. John, who's going to do the staff report?
Gordon?
Miss Holly Scott will do the staff report.
Okay, she's up. Tell her to go right ahead.
All right, application has been made for special use approval for the 25th annual Chuckers for Charity polo event to take place on Saturday, September 12th. The applicant has provided proper documentation that she has authority to represent the landowners on behalf of this request. Last year, the event hosted 1,050 attendees. This year's accommodation would support up to 1,050 guests, volunteers, and staff. This is a one-day fundraising polo match that benefits the Rochelle Center and Saddle Up, organizations that serve adults and children with disabilities. This event includes an afternoon of polo and a dinner. The applicant has made special arrangements to adhere to any possible restrictions that may be in place due to COVID-19. Plans meet or exceed requirements of Williamson County Zoning Ordinance Section 11.05 D7 and include potable water. Chuckers has free bottled water iced in bins that's available to anyone needing water. They begin with a minimum of 100 gallons outside the patron's tent and another 100 gallons inside. All containers are monitored during the event and will be refilled if they begin to run low. Attendees in the tailgating cabanas bring their own water, but are welcome to use the free water if needed. Porta potties, royal restrooms, and fusion site are scheduled to supply 24 regular units and 3 ADA handicap units exceeding the ordinance requirements of 7 units. Trash, the solid waste plan plans to provide 1 to 6-yard containers and 50 polycarts to meet the waste facility requirements and provide easy access for waste collection. Vehicles parking is shown on the plan for 394 patron parking plus 100 volunteer spots. Ordinance requirement is 263 parking spaces. Lighting, the event ends before dark. Security, 7 Williamson County officers will provide security for the event exceeding the ordinance requirements. The 200 buffer requirement is shown on the site plan. The hours for this event are from 1 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Plans include staggered times for arrival and a slow release at the end of the event to assist with traffic control. Setup is scheduled for September 9th at 9 p.m. and teardown is scheduled for September 14th at 12 p.m. Brantley Audio Professional Sound Service Company is to provide audio services, and it is understood Section 16.02 noise standards must be met. Medical plans show that Williamson Medical Center is scheduled to provide an on-duty ambulance and medic and indicates provision for a backup ambulance and medic. In addition, the Nashville Polo Club plans to provide 2 EMTs for players, grooms, and game officials. Special use approval is requested under Section 11.05D7 for this one-day event on September 12th, 2020. Codes compliance staff have reviewed the plan submitted for this application, and they meet or exceed requirements of Williamson County Zoning Ordinance Section 11.05D7. In addition to meeting this criteria, the board must decide whether the request meets the review standards for special uses in Section 5.01E by determining that this use is appropriate in the location for which it is proposed.
Thank you. John, you have anything else you want to add?
The only thing, I think this is the 25th year for this event. They run a good event. We've had no complaints in the past, and I think they are doing a good job with this.
Okay. Ms. Chadwick, you're up now.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. We come to you today in extraordinary times. Had anyone told us what we would be facing over the past few months, I think that everyone here would have insisted that was not going to be the case. That being the case, Truckers for Charity in its 25th year has taken this crisis and virus very seriously, and we have submitted additional information for a social distancing with the move from the regular field to the land trust field. There have been a special setup and a drawing submitted showing that, and I'm going to ask James Armstrong, who has been with the event since its inception, to speak a little bit about how we plan to cope with this social distancing and the plans we have made. James, could you share with us, please?
Yes, thank you for having us this evening, and we appreciate you guys meeting. So what we've done is we've moved to a much larger area. The field that we'll be using is a large flat area. So what's going to allow us to do, instead of our normal patrons tent, where we have, I think, 500 people or so gathering, we're going to spread them all along the one side in 10 by 10 cabanas with a 6-foot buffer between each cabana. Each cabana will have up to 10 people in it. And in those cabanas, they'll be pre-supplied with a picnic lunch, and their drinks and alcohol will be pre-served to them in those cabanas. So there won't be any food buffets or bars or anybody lining up at any stations. On the other side of the field, we will have our traditional tailgating, where we'll supply 20 cabanas to the first people that sign up for the event. Same thing here, we'll have that 6-foot buffer between each tailgating spot, and then the remaining tailgating spots will be allowed to just pull one car up and traditionally tailgate at that area. As I say, this new field layout just gives us so much more room to spread everybody else. It's a nice flat area. We won't have to shuttle anybody for parking. The VIP patrons guys will be able to park their cars right behind their cabanas. There's a lot of room, so we'll avoid anybody riding in golf carts or shuttles, and the same thing on the tailgating side. As far as the players we'll use this year, we've decided to use all local professional amateur players that are already at Nashville Polo Club. I know, our procedures and our medics and everything, so we won't be bringing in outside players from other countries or other states. They'll all be local players that would have already been playing here at the club.
Thank you. Ms. Chadwick, is there anything else you want to add?
No, we appreciate the opportunity to come before you. And we have worked very hard to develop a plan that would limit the exposure of the guests who enjoy this event that is so important to Rochelle Center and Saddle Up for our funding for the folks that we serve, children and adults with disabilities. So we would appreciate your consideration of our plan this evening.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Crusher, you have anything you want to add?
Lori?
I just echo what Debbie said. We've put an awful lot of thought and consideration and have the safety and health of our participants and volunteers and attendees at the heart of how we plan this. So we're hoping to have a healthy event and a profitable event to be able to fund our nonprofits. Appreciate your consideration.
Thank you. This time, John, do we have anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item?
We sent out the notices to the adjacent property owners and posted the sign on the property. I had no calls or requests to join the meeting. I did have one email received from County Commissioner Morton from District 9 showing his support for the event and hoping that the board will approve the event. I do not see any members from the public that have logged on to view the event to speak. But if there are, now would be the time for the public to voice your opinion on this matter.
John, I'm seeing on my screen as caller 01. Is
That is Brenda.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I don't see anyone that I'm not familiar with on the screen. So I believe, Mr. Chairman, we can say we have given the public sufficient chance to speak to this item.
Okay, then we will close the public hearing. Go to the board for questions, comments, motions, whatever.
Well,
Aaron, go ahead.
there was a letter I received. I don't know if you all received it, but you should have. It was addressed to Holly Scott from Lynn Howard about
Yes.
parking.
That was a letter we normally get with the application. It came later this year, and we tried to get it in with your packets that you received. But it came out after the packets went out. That is from one of the property owners that they do allow them to use as for entrance, egress, one of the two. I can't remember which one it is, but they are using part of their property to cross to get to the polo fields.
That's a
Okay,
good
so
one.
there's nothing different about this one-way direction. Okay.
No, it's the same way it always has been. We just needed her okay to allow them to do that.
Okay.
Other questions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have a couple of questions. This is
Go
Don.
ahead, Don.
The cabana, what was the size of the cabana again, please? Cabanas you're using?
The cabanas are 10 by 10.
And you're gonna have 10 people in each cabana.
Yes, sir. And they'll be 6 feet from each other.
Okay. And are the players, I know this is a weird time, but are they gonna be tested before this event?
Currently, under the USPA laws, we are not having any testing. There are forms that you have to fill out pre to playing in an event. that requires, taking your temperature, have you come into contact with anybody. But as of right now, people that are playing in USPA tournaments are not required to be tested. But if that was something that we needed to do, it could certainly be achieved.
No, I'm just asking. The other question is, because of the time we're in right now, there possibly will be changes with the state or the county between now and the time of the event. And from what I've heard you say right now, you're all prepared to adapt to whatever changes have to be made.
No, sir. Actually, we are going to stay with the more restrictive plan that we have in place. Even if the state does open up and Williamson County should open up further, it's something that we feel comfortable with. Having worked with us over the years, we tend to exceed a lot of requirements. And this is something with the safety and the slipperiness of this virus that we feel comfortable with the more restrictive tone this year in keeping with the tents, the 10 by 10 cabanas with that 6 feet of distancing between each. So that will be our footprint and our format for this year should this event be approved.
Okay, I guess what my question was on this, I know you do a good job and everything, always have. If the state or the county comes up with more restrictive measures that have to be taken, you are prepared to take those measurements for it?
Yes, sir. We meet every about 10 days to 2 weeks to discuss where we are and what we need to do. Our hand sanitizer for each cabana just came in today that we can provide individually in each cabana. So yes, sir, we are prepared to meet should the restrictions go above what was considered in phase 1 across the state. We are prepared to meet those.
Okay, thank you. That's what I needed. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
I have a question for you, Debbie.
Yes, sir.
At the end of the game, sure what they call it, there's always people who want an autograph. Have y'all considered what happens when everything is over and the sports celebrities are out there on the field and people want to go get an autograph or a picture or whatever?
Well, this year we have not to undercut the players that we're having. I know in years past, we've been fortunate to have Nick Rodan and John Walsh due to James's connections and globally. He is a polo player that's played all over the world and has many connections even with the royal family. Because of the pandemic, we have chosen to use local players that are readily accessible through Nashville Polo Club and their events that they host and their classes that are held. James, do you want to speak
Yeah,
to
so
that?
and some of the other precautions that we're going to take this year, in the past years, we've had the car show at halftime, where people come onto the middle of the field, and also we've handed out ice cream. We've removed all that from the event this year, so we're going to try and avoid any kind of people gathering or joining afterwards. So same thing would apply to the trophy presentation. We would ask everybody just to remain in their cabanas or their seats while we're doing the trophy presentation and try and limit the contact between players and our guests.
Good. Thank you very much. Any other questions from the board?
I'm ready for a motion. This is Don.
I'll accept the motion.
I would like to move to accept this extensive impact at 1475 Horton Road, meeting section 5.01 special use, section 11.05 D7 special event impact, and section 16.01 noise standard. Because of the past history of this organization, they have gone above and beyond to meet our regulations. I move that we accept their request.
Have a motion.
I would second it, but did you get the address right?
1475
Moran Road?
Moran
Yes,
Road.
Okay, I'll
Moran Road.
second them. I'll second it.
You second it? Okay, proper motion, a second. Those in favor of the motion will call roll. Don,
Yes,
Aaron,
Yes.
David votes yes also. Motion carries. Thank you so much for coming out tonight, or wherever you are. I wish you were here in the building.
Yes, sir.
Folks, as I understand what's going on currently, unless the governor extends continues to waive the requirement for public meetings, we will not meet like this coming month. We will be at the court, at the administrative complex. Keep your eye on the comptroller's office at the state. They've made sent out an email about, I guess, the first of last week saying the governor is not going to extend this particular thing. So this may be our last get together on the electronic network. Anything else from good accord?
Mr.
Don, you have
Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I understand that they are remodeling the auditorium. Is that correct? Will that be?
Well, my understanding is there's a lot of dust, a lot of particles, a lot of mess. I have no idea about how quickly things are going to be corrected, but they're remodeling first and second and some third floor.
I think we will be able to be in the auditorium through September. And then after that, I believe we're going to have to make arrangements to go somewhere else. But I believe we'll be able to do that for the next 2 or 3 months.
Okay. Good deal. Anything else for the good?
I move we adjourn.
You shaking your head? You have something?
No, I don't have anything. So thank you all for being such good sports with the electronic meetings these couple of months.
Well, with that, we will close our meeting.
Thank you very much.
Have a safe trip home,
Thank
and
you.
Thank you.
I'll see you back at the Oasis again.
Hope to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.